hungry. I need more food. Why have I lost my trail of thought? Prep brain is a real thing. Hunger levels might be a little bit higher today. Do you feel a little bit more in my feels today? Good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. The last time I spoke to you guys, I was officially 13 weeks out from my first natural bodybuilding competition, and yesterday we hit 10 weeks out. Today's video is going to be all about what I eat in a day. It's a non-training day for me today, apart from having some cardio in, which we've already been in and ticked off for this morning. But I wanted to take you guys through how a non-training day, full day of food looks for me currently at 10 weeks out. I guess as we haven't caught up since my last video and it has been a few weeks, I thought, let me update you guys on how I'm feeling, how the last sort of few weeks have gone. And we haven't had many changes since the last time I checked in with you guys in terms of training, cardio. We have had just a slight change to duration in terms of the cardio I get in at the end of my sessions. So I think before I spoke to you guys, it was 20 minutes. We are now up to 30 minutes on training days. And then as my sort of full cardio days, when it's on its own without the weights, it's 45 minutes. So we're in a good place. The body weight is still trending down, which is good. It just means that my body is responding really well to everything that we're giving it. In terms of fatigue, I'm feeling good as well. Of course, there's always going to be days where it feels a bit tougher. And then there's days where it just feels like a total breeze. And I think during prep, I'm very grateful for the busyness of my schedule, because I do feel this has contributed massively to potentially distracting me from maybe being hungry. So I think there's positives and negatives about that, right? Like, I'm doing so much in the background, as well as sort of being in the gym with clients, doing sort of my own stuff business-wise, which of course can mean I'm a little bit more tired day to day because of how much I am doing. But then I think if I look at things in a more of a positive light for that, it means that I'm nice and distracted. I'm busy. I've got things to be getting on with. I'm not just sort of sitting around and thinking about when my next meal is, and not allowing those sort of hunger cravings to sort of kick in. Of course, I still have days where that does happen, regardless of the busy schedule that I might have. Like I just said, I think some days generally are a total breeze, and then some days I'm like, I'm hungry. I need more food. But generally, you know, if I really do reflect on how I do feel day to day, I am in a good place. So we will be checking in with my coach today. I've sent over my pictures. I've completed my form, and so I'm waiting for some feedback today if there is going to be any more changes for the new week. So maybe by the end of this video, I'll be able to update you what he says and what the plan is. But for today, I'm going to show you with the macros that I've got exactly how a day of food looks for me. Okay guys, we're back in the kitchen. Well, we're not back in the kitchen. We have not left the kitchen. I have literally been multitasking crazily this morning. I've got meal prep on the go. I've made my partner a homemade curry dish that he's going to have this week for some dinners throughout the week. And I'm trying to film. I'm going to make breakfast now because I wanted to leave breakfast a little bit later this morning, because I said to you guys today is my lower calorie day. I did want to just anticipate that hunger levels might be a little bit higher today. So I've left breakfast a little bit later, but we're going to make the first meal of the day. I have already got my cardio in, and this morning I didn't go completely fasted because I did have my mud water mushroom coffee blend is what you want to call it. And I like that for pre-cardio. It does definitely just give me that little bit of carbohydrates to use during the session, so I'm not completely fasted. And then usually I'll have my meal when I get back. Normally a little bit earlier for sure, because normally I am actually on the gym floor. So I would actually have my first meal at around 6 a.m., which is pretty early. But then because I'm on the gym floor with clients and I'm busy, it doesn't feel so bad. But when I'm at home, and today I think especially I've got a lot to do, but I think when I'm at home, I'm more around food. I'm anticipating that it might be a bit harder today. I definitely felt a lot hungrier the last few days, and that is because I'm waiting for Mother Nature to make an appearance. I definitely felt like I could feel her coming today. You ladies know when that sort of menstrual cycle starts to approach, generally our body does want a little bit more food, and so I'm just trying to spread out those meals for today. So yeah, it's currently 20 to 10 and I'm gonna get the first meal in, which is high protein. We've got some carbs in it as well, and then hopefully that's going to keep me nice and fueled until my next meal. But we are going to go for, we've got egg whites today as my main sort of bulk of my protein. And you know, there's nothing special, I would say, you know, about egg whites. It's not this magical, you know, tool to use for fat loss. It basically just is a lot lower in calories without fat or carbs. So if you're on a diet phase or you're a competitor yourself, you know, egg whites over like a full egg is definitely going to give you a little bit more bang for your buck, and then it's going to allow you to use those fats and protein in other meals across the day. So we're going with egg whites. I'm going to just literally make some scrambled eggs. We've got, my sausage is already in the air fryer, which I love the ones I've been getting. I know I spoke to you guys last time about my shop on Ocado, and I found these organic chicken sausages on there, which again, for the macros, they're so good. Some good ingredients in there as well, but I think it's like 70 calories and 8 grams of protein per one sausage. For like a medium-sized sausage, I think that's pretty good. So we've got that, and then I'm going to serve that with my rye bread. Rye bread is another great carbohydrate to use when you are maybe on a diet phase. Again, what you're really looking for when you're picking your carbohydrates is those slower digesting carbs, especially like for sort of meals that aren't, you know, too close to your training session, because they're going to make you feel fuller for longer, more satiated, and they are going to give you, again, more bang for your buck when it comes to calories. So we've got rye bread. I go for it says protein bread. There isn't any like protein powder or anything in there. I think it's just the bulk of it is just from the seeds and nuts and things like that. So it's got sort of rye and flax seeds, which is going to just obviously give you that little bit more protein. It's not going to be a whole protein, like a complete protein, because it won't have all of the essential amino acids that make up a protein, but it just helps to add on top. And I'll get my sort of protein fully from my chicken sausage and my egg whites. I'm going to crack on with making this, and then I'll show you guys the end product. So there we have it, first meal of the day. As I said to you guys, we've got some, why have I lost my trailer for? Prep brain is a real thing. We've got some egg white scramble, we've got chicken sausage, we've got some rye bread with some peanut butter, and we have one apricot as well. I've also got my black coffee, and I'm going to take my supplements for the day. So that is meal one. I am so hungry now. I really thought this morning, because I've been busy, I don't know if you can see, but meal prep's happening over here. I thought I'll be fine, let me just keep busy. And then it got to this time and I was like, I need to eat like right now. I'm so hungry, so I'm gonna enjoy this. I've just got my feedback from my coach for this week's check-in, so I'm gonna eat this, have a little listen to see what the plan is for the new week. And then I'll see you guys back at meal number 2. Okay guys, I'm back for meal number 2. Apologies, I'm half dressed because I've just finished up my posing call for today with my posing coach. So I had another posing lesson this Monday, which was great because we was able to go over a few things that I was sort of struggling on, and we had a good session. So I'm glad we got that in today. I'm just about to eat my lunch now, which you guys had saw before, but I will show you here what I am eating for today. And that was made earlier this morning because I actually managed to do my meal prep today, ticked off, so that's all ready to go in the fridge. And I normally do it on a Sunday, but yesterday, I went out for the morning, which was so needed. Me and my partner had gone out for like a nice walk, and it took up pretty much a lot of time in the morning, and so I had to train after, and so I thought I'm just going to meal prep tomorrow. So I did that today, which is still done. So that was all ready to go for me to eat now, which I'm going to eat now before I start my client check-ins for today. But I wanted to update you guys because I got my feedback from my coach, and we definitely are making changes this week. The food is coming down, which is fine. It's not extreme. I think it's a couple hundred calories off both training and rest day, and then we're pushing forward. We're continuing to push forward. We've got 10 weeks to go, and so the change was necessary and it was needed. The body weight had come down slightly this week, but nothing crazy. So I think the extra push now is needed. But my coach has reassured me that we're in a good place. We're very much on track to where we need to be. So yeah, rest assured, everything's going as planned. But we've got a bit of a deload week planned this week, which has came at the perfect time because my cycle should be approaching over either today or the next few days, and I think this deload has come at a perfect time. When it comes to deloading, it can vary, but for our plan for this deload, we are training as usual, but we're just going to reduce the amount that I'm doing. So instead of doing 2 or 3 working sets, which I normally do in my training session, we're going to be doing 1 plus maybe some like warm-up sets, but we just want enough to sort of stimulate the muscle, get a bit of blood flow going around the body. But we just don't want to accumulate any more fatigue. We want to really use this time to rest the body, bring down inflammation, allow myself to recover really well so that when I come back out of my deload, I'm able to then push for a good another few weeks. And then that's like bringing me up to, I think, 4 weeks out before we next do our deload. And again, it's just sort of planning in these rest and recovery weeks so that I can continue on the journey to show day. And it's very much a push and pull sort of tool to use during prep. I think my coach touched upon this earlier in the feedback, and he sort of mentioned, I think there's this misconception with prep that, it has to be all guns blazing, all systems go for the total of the weeks that you're in prep. But I think especially as a female athlete and someone, who does experience maybe premenstrual symptoms, it's a really wise thing to do, to be aware of that and know when to pull back so then you can continue to push, because it absolutely is a marathon and not a sprint when it comes to bodybuilding. And so that's exactly what we're going to do this week. I'm going to eat my lunch now and I'll see you back for meal number 3. Hello, I'm back. It is now, what time is it? It's 5:20 and I'm getting myself now ready for meal number 3 of the day, which again is already prepped, which is great because I've done it this morning. So all I've got to do is get it out of the fridge. Thank God, because I'm feeling it today, guys. I'm feeling tired. I've done everything I need to do today. I've done my steps, which I did whilst I was doing client check-ins today. So that's all ticked off. The cardio is done. I just need to now focus on just getting in my food for the remaining of the day. I can have a nice shower and then just relax for the rest of the evening. But yeah, I'm feeling good still. I do feel a little bit more in my feels today. And I think it's important to share the low moments as well during this journey that I'm on, rather than just the highlights and the highs. Because I do feel like on social media, there's a lot of that, isn't there? Like when anyone's documenting their prep, or you see a highlight reel on Instagram, it's always going to be motivational stuff, all about determination, all about the highs, you know, the wins, but it's never really about the sort of mental side of what might come with prep and how generally you feel when you have thrown into that time of the month symptoms as well, and how that can just affect how we feel mentally. And I wanted to share something that I wrote in my journal this morning, that it's the ones with the mindset and the determination to acknowledge those feelings, but understand how to speak to yourself when they come, and then how to deal with those emotions who go the furthest, which is, I feel, is absolutely spot on. And I just needed to remind myself of that this afternoon for sure. That's so important for me to remind myself that whilst I am transitioning into that time of the month, that these feelings are totally relevant and okay, and they most definitely will pass. Nice to just like reflect over my morning notes, because I feel like, you know, you can always start the morning in a high, and then as the day goes on, of course, you know, we're going to have fluctuations in terms of how we feel, right? So it's so important as well just to maybe have that like mid part of the day, or, you know, halfway mark in the day, where you just sit back down with yourself, go back over a few important things just to help with all of that mental side of things, and just remind yourself that you're doing a good job. If you're having a bit of a bad day, tomorrow is going to be a new one. And so that is what I'm reminding myself today. But yes, time to eat. Last meal, very simple, is my sweet potato and turkey mince. I love this meal. I think I've eaten this meal now for literally at the start of prep, so 15 weeks definitely straight, and probably before that as well. I'm a massive turkey mince fan, and sweet potato is just amazing. I don't know if it's on prep, just because I'm on prep, because it sort of gives you that like sweetness that you sort of are missing in prep. But this definitely is one of my favorite meals, so I've been keeping that in. But it's nice, high in protein. You've got your slow digesting, high fiber carb here, sweet potato, which again, as I said to you guys earlier in the video, is something that I'm always trying to be mindful of to keep into my daily food, because right now my main focus is to utilize food which is going to make me feel full, satisfied, and it's going to sort of slowly release into the body throughout the day, so I don't get huge spikes of, you know, hunger. This is definitely something that I'm going to continue to keep in for as long as possible. And if you're in a weight loss phase yourself, then that is a fantastic strategy and tool to think about when you're thinking about what carbs to include within your day-to-day nutrition. Carbs is not the enemy, guys. Please do not think that you have to eliminate these completely. It's simply another macronutrient that is going to dictate total calories in the day. So, you know, typically you'll always hear on social media to reduce carbs, because at the end of the day, that's just simply going to reduce the amount of food that you're consuming. I think the main issue people have with carbs is that they are very easy to overeat, right? So loads of carbs, if we think about the most popular ones, you know, pasta, rice, potatoes, things like that, it's quite easy to use a lot of it and actually not be too mad about it and actually eat it. And of course, then that is the main problem with carbs, is that people just eat too much of it. But you most definitely need them in your diet for sure, especially if you're training. Of course, making sure that your carbohydrate intake is at a good position to help fuel your training performance is key. So I'm going to enjoy my last meal of the day. I will be back to show you what my final meal of the evening looks like. And today we've got a little bit of a sweet treat added in. I mean, you probably won't think it's a sweet treat, but to me right now, it's perfect. Okay, last meal of the night is really simple. All I'm going to be having is some almond-based yogurt. So I'm going to have 200 grams of this. And then I'm going to add on top some frozen blueberries. So I'm going to go for 80 grams of this. Oh God, I didn't quite realise how much 80 grams was, but we'll take it. And then just to finish off, we are going to add in 11 grams of peanut butter. And that is basically it, guys. That is exactly what I'm currently eating in a day 10 weeks out on a rest day. I will probably put together another day of food so you can see the difference in what I eat when I am training, because of course there is going to be some differences to show you. So thank you again for watching, and I shall see you on the next one.